The four parts of a consulting firm that AI can actually automate and help you with to get those tasks done. What are those four parts? This is what I'm going to discuss for the video today. And if you don't know, I've just recently started a new series on my channel, which is about how consulting firms can be automated, or simply their tasks can be more fulfilled by using AI. And so that your analysts and your consultants and your senior managers, all these employees can actually save a lot of their time and efforts onto something which on some tasks which are more important and which do require their skill set and intelligence rather than the ones which are just normal repetitive tasks that anyone can do, right? So yeah, that's the point of this whole video. Now, for without any further ado, I'll just get into whatever I have here. So, first one, which is this says that AI doesn't replace consultants. It actually replaces the busy work that consultants usually have, and they often spend their time on. Let's hypothetically categorize these tasks which consultants or the people working in a consulting firm usually have. So there's this one list of the tasks which require the utter intelligence, the skill set that these people have, and their experience of working in this field, right? And there's this other list of the tasks which doesn't require any skill set as such, any intelligence or experience as such, or it wouldn't even require you to consciously work on the task, even, right? So those tasks are something which can be automated, which don't require the actual intelligence or creativity or experience that consultants or analysts usually have, right? So going with the first one, which is the first part, which can be automated by using AI, which is the sales and pre-sales part. So what exactly is it? See, in most consulting firms, senior people do the repetitive pre-sales work, right? Pre-sales work such as then some proposals are manually prepared every time. And lead qualification is quite inconsistent and unvariable. You don't have a consistent or a systemized structure to actually qualify the leads, right? It is just done upon the impression or some factors here and there, but it isn't like systemized in a way. It isn't properly systemized. And juniors are made to create decks all manual handily. So all the pitch decks that are made before creating the actual proposal for the other business, juniors actually have to do all that stuff single-handedly manually, right? So that's another thing that can be potentially automated by AI. Now, more particularly, AI can just automate tasks like first lead qualification and prioritization. So it just includes stuff like scoring leads based on firm-specific success patterns. So, whatever success patterns or factor you consider to be the ones which are most significant to qualify the other leads, using those factors, we can actually, craft an AI or build an AI that actually qualifies the leads for you, and you have to do nothing. You just have to put the leads into, you just have to give the leads to that AI. It'll just qualify them and give you the list of all those qualified leads, right? Then it can also automate the pre-call preparation stuff. So, which is providing industry context, market analysis, scraping out common challenges for similar clients, or whatever the recent trends in the same market and the same industry, or what works, what doesn't. Now, would you not agree with me if I just said that AI is the best to, perform researches in any market or for any industry or for any specific purpose? Would you not agree with me that AI is the best for this job? Of course it is, because it's AI, right? It just has access to thousands of those documents or those resources from which it can pull data, and it can perform analysis or, analyze trends. Then we have this proposal structuring thing, which is drafting proposals for other businesses before we actually, as a consulting firm, before we actually communicate with them, communicate with their team, and try to understand their problem. So, drafting outlines and narratives, or even reusing successful positioning from our prior projects. So, prior projects or previous works. So, it's basically using this simplest example, we can say that we've got a client working in the healthcare industry. So, this business just works in the healthcare industry, and we just worked with a client, another client in the healthcare industry just a few months ago. So we can just grab some data for that from that previous project of ours and grab some data, grab some information about the successful positioning and how we actually created this proposal or pitch decks for them so that we can just reuse that stuff to this new one. I'll just get into this reusing IP and stuff just later in this video. But yeah, for now, this is the sales and the pre-sales part of it. Now, the thing is that, okay, I've understood these tasks can be automated. Now, what is left that cannot be automated? Or what is actually left for our consultants or analysts to do? So you see, tasks like relationship building. That is something, of course, AI cannot do, right? It's not a human. Then commercial judgment. So actually, judging what to, let's say in the case of pitch decks, so what to involve in those decks, what to not, how to position something correctly, or how to frame some sentences, how to frame this thing this way, right? All of this requires the judgment and experience that only a consultant or analyst or the people working in a consulting firm would have, right? Then the final pricing for the proposal. Then like all of this stuff just remains human led. So actually, just the group of tasks that actually require the experience, that actually require this creativity or intelligence that people working in a consulting firm usually have. This is not done by AI. Everything except from this can be possibly done, right? And that which is better when done with AI, right? So AI just basically standardizes pre-sales quality while reducing senior time involvement. So you don't have to spend any of your time anymore on such pre-sales activities, and instead, AI will do it for you, that too, better quality and more efficiently, right? Then, delivery and analysis. This is the second part which AI can actually automate for us. So let's understand what tasks actually get included in this delivery and analysis part. So, consulting delivery often involves somewhat repeated analytical patterns. Now, if you're someone watching this video from which has a consulting background, who has a consulting background, or who has been working in a consulting firm for some time, only then you would understand what I'm talking about here. Otherwise, it'll just be really difficult for you to understand if, as a normal person what I'm talking about here. But yeah, somewhat just repeated analytical patterns in the delivery and analysis processes. Then formatting and structuring insights, then translating data into familiar terms or language, right? So all of this stuff is a part of the consulting delivery. It isn't as simple as just creating this pitch deck and just handling it to the company or the business, right? It just includes these other stuff as well, which is of course necessary for the process, which are again these repeated analytical patterns or just formatting and structuring insights, translating data into the familiar language and terms, so that taking care of the personalization in a sense. This is extremely simple when done with AI. Okay, this doesn't require you any sort of intelligence or experience of your own. It is some sort of repetitive work, right? It is some sort of repetitive. It doesn't require such great amounts of creativity every single time when it is done, right? So that's why it can be simply done with AI and more efficiently as well. Now, more specifically, AI can automate tasks like, let's say, insight drafting. So, generating hypotheses or identifying common problems, common risks, or just so like all of these actions or all of these activities that are included in the drafting insight part for the business or for a consulting firm in general, those tasks can be just done by AI really easily and really efficiently. Now, benchmark comparison and patterns detection. Assumption testing, which is, stress testing the key variables or identifying sensitivity points in the consulting project. Then storyline development, structuring logical flows or ensuring consistency between insights and recommendations. So all of this stuff, it okay, I would agree that this does require some sort of intelligence or creativity to an extent, but that extent that I'm talking about, like to an extent, it can be handled by AI, right? It doesn't require some real-time experience that you have had in the field. It can just be done if the AI has the knowledge about the consulting project and whatever components of the projects are there, and how's the market, how the industry, what are the hypotheses, what is included in the synthesis part of the things. So yeah, all of that, all of those activities. Then tasks like strategic judgment, final interpretation, and client-specific nuances. They all remain human-led. So, like you might observe a common pattern here that all of these tasks which require human judgment and human experience, they often are just left human-led or human done. Okay, they aren't even touched by AI because AI cannot just, of course, AI just can't do it. But then AI doesn't manipulate the conclusions in any sort of way. It just simplifies the thinking and analysis. So, what I mean by that is that the AI just gives you this blueprint, this structure, this skeleton of whatever drafting, proposal, the pitch decks. So AI just gives you this whole structure. The conclusion or the resulting part of it is in your hands, in your team's hands, right? it just simplifies the thinking and analysis part of you. Again, just structuring the whole thing, and it just gives you this whole blueprint so that you can just pick some things out of it, add something to it, add any personalization, add any modification, and when done, or in a sense, let's say you've polished the whole thing to an extent, then the conclusion is just in your hands. So that's the part. Now that we've covered this delivery and analysis, then we come to the third one, the third part, which is internal operations. So, consulting firms often have to face staffing mismatches or project delays, bottleneck review periods, or inconsistent quality control, right? Just because there isn't a proper structure for those tasks, right? Usually there isn't a proper structure, which can be potentially be done otherwise when AI comes into play, right? I'll just get into that in a second. But so what AI can actually do here, first of all, for the staffing optimization stuff, is matching skills, availability, experience, and expertise. So expertise. So let's say you've got a consulting project. So which consultant in your consulting firm actually has got the matching skills, the availability, the experience, and the expertise for that industry, for that field to just fix that specific problem? Who might have done that before, who might have already got a successful experience with that, right? So that's staffing optimization in a sense. Then the project monitoring, so identifying potential delivery risks or bottlenecks early, or just highlighting scope creep and delays. So it's just like just identifying all the potential delivery risks there might be, then quality assurance, consistency and logic checks, or a complete review of deliverables. So again, performing these checks or performing these reviews of the deliverables, that's again something that doesn't require much of that creativity or much of that intelligence, and that's why AI can do it for you. Because at least AI has that sort of knowledge in its own, right? And AI just reduces the operational tasks like these that add friction to to the project, which does cost some time and efforts. So it isn't like AI is just doing your work for you. AI is just making it easier so that you can focus on the most significant part of the work or most significant tasks that are there in your schedule or that are in your to-do list. So I hope I made this part of the video really clear. And now comes the fourth part, which AI can actually automate, which is knowledge and IP reuse, one of my real favorites, right? Which I believe is really easy for me to make you understand as a viewer. So yeah, consulting firms possess extensive intellectual properties, IPs, the intellectual properties, and that too which are proven. All the frameworks, all the SOPs, all the insights, all the analysis that you might have done for a similar project before or some prior projects before, you have these intellectual properties with you, but oftentimes you just don't reuse it, right? You just spend time and efforts into creating those frameworks, SOPs again, which are pretty much similar to the ones you already had created before. So imagine if you just reuse them, how much time and effort would you actually save? And literally, how much brain power would you save? Then they aren't fully optimized, which I just said, right? What AI can do here, very simply, is that first of all, the IP extraction part. So identifying framework, making assumptions, or reviewing past insights from prior projects. So let's say you've got a consulting project and you just completed a similar project to that, to this one, just a few months ago. So you can just extract all that IP related to that project, so you can get the proven frameworks, the successful frameworks that actually worked for that project, the assumptions and the past insights, so that you can just simply grab them and use them for this project. Just reusing these IPs in a case of, let's say, the manual handling part, or whenever humans have to do it, it isn't much efficient because it just becomes really, of course, it just becomes really difficult for a human to just scrape all those insights, frameworks, SOPs every single time a project comes, right? They don't have the memory to remember every single project that has been done. Then we have this contextual retrieval, which is figuring out if any IPs from prior projects contained information to assist or boost the current problem, which is quite similar to this IP extraction part that we've got this project. I've just got to look for if any previous project of mine has anything similar or related to do with this one, or which contains any information, any knowledge that can help me with this new project, right? Any IP, any framework, any SOPs, any insight, any pitch decks, any proposals, right? Then the cross project learning, which is figuring out what failed, what worked, and why, the whys behind it. So why? did it fail? So we can actually improve upon that part, or actually just ignore or avoid that part in this new consulting project, or what worked. So we can just reuse it because it was actually proven and it worked before. So we just have a guarantee behind it and the whys behind it. So we can understand the problem or the solution even better, right? So ultimately, the goal is to make projects as less effortful as possible by just reusing the knowledge we already had or the intellectual properties from our previous projects, from our prior work, right? So that's the main thing. Like when you have these resources sitting up as your resources, why do you have to spend more efforts and more time into creating that stuff again or finding solutions to those similar problems that you once faced before, right? You just have those solutions that actually worked before. They are proven. You can just copy and paste them. Like, not as simple as it sounds, but yeah, you can just reuse them in a way, right? Which does save you a lot of efforts and a lot of time. And why AI should do it? Because again, it is just really significantly difficult for a human to do when you just have to remember all these tasks or all these frameworks, SOPs, projects that you've done before, and just scraping each one of them to find out what can actually work for you. On the other hand, AI actually has the brains to just give you the desired results and the desired solution in just a matter of seconds, right? These were the four parts which can be potentially automated by AI and which are really made more effective when done by AI. Now, do you agree that consulting firms are often structured around human incapability or limitations, like, let's say, memory constraints or coordination costs or repetitive cognition? Like, I'm not saying that all of the tasks involve these stuff, but a lot of the tasks or a lot of efficiency is missed upon just because of these limitations, which won't be there when AI actually comes into play, right? So AI, of course, removes those limitations or constraints because AI has the ability to do it more efficiently, more just doing everything better, right? So the efficiency of AI just exposes these manual work inefficiencies. So the kind of work that doesn't require any sort of intelligence or consciousness at that moment, any previous work experience, all of that stuff just gets done by AI just more efficiently just because it's AI, right? So yeah, that's the whole thing. Now, I'll just probably conclude this video by AI for consulting firms is simply about reducing the cognitive waste, not making your employees or your team members do the stuff which can much better be done by AI, and just reducing the task overload that I just said, the repetitive tasks, the rework, or such mismanagement or inefficiency related tasks, and allowing consultants to single-mindedly focus on decision making, the judgment part of things, and the relationships. Again, the tasks are a group of activities which require real-time intelligence, real-time experience, real-time creativity, and real-time skill sets that a consultant or analyst or senior manager or anybody from a consulting firm actually has. AI replaces nothing. It just does the easy work for you. It just does the work that might seem boring or repetitive or just exhausting, overwhelming to you. That is what AI does for you. It replaces nothing. Okay. So that was the whole video, and I hope I really made myself articulate and clear throughout the whole thing. And I conveyed my expressions, my thoughts really well to you, and you did get whatever my point of creating this video was for. So yeah, that's the whole thing. I really hope you liked it. Now, if you're a business owner who's looking forward to implement these kind of solutions or any such AI-based systems for yourself, for your business, to just increase your work efficiency, to just give your team members a relief, to just make their lives easier, or to just get a lot of tasks or activities done more efficiently, because AI has the capability to do it, then I'll just drop a link in this video's description. You can just check the video, you can just check the video description out, and you can just check the link. We can schedule a quick conversation together and we can discuss ideas. We can just explore ideas, how AI can come into your business, or how AI can actually affect all how things are done inside your consulting firm or your business in general. Even if you don't have any such specific system in your mind and you just want me to consult you in a sense that where can actually be AI implemented, or what tasks, what activities, what operations can be done better with AI, even then, you can just check the link out. I can just prepare a personalized audit for you, which is basically that I'll just come in as a consultant for your business and I'll just take a sneak peek into your business or identify areas which can potentially be automated by AI or which have the potential to be done better and more efficiently with AI, just ultimately saving your team members a lot of time and a lot of efforts, and you, especially if you're the business owner, a lot of headache. So yeah, I'll just see you in the next one. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and that's it. Bye bye.